Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Hawachakodash, saying double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So I'm not going to address this video on the screen. I just quickly prepared another lesson, but while I was doing so, this information came out. It's from Captain Tazariak, titled "What's Going On in Israel Right Now Needs to Be Addressed ASAP." Sakari Guerrilla Hebrew, we need answers. And that's because a video had just came. Well, video was put up and then it was gone really quick. It was from an ex. I put it this way. This is all alleged. Okay, it's from a ex-member of Sakari. I can give you the title of the video as it was. The title of the video was "To Catch a Predator. Here is the proof." That video was taken down right away, but it will be looked into. I'm just gonna put it that way. So this is just, you could say, breaking, as you can say, going on today, Sunday, Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. So, we'll see we'll see what comes out of it. But as we've been telling you, the age of the false prophets being revealed, we're in that time because we're so close to the end. And as I was preparing, like somebody put in the comment here, I'm pretty sure it got taken down a flag for putting Guerrilla Hebrew's number on the video to start. So yeah, so it was taken down right away. But like I said, it will be looked into, and we'll just go from there. Okay. So in general, what I wanted to quickly add was when it comes to the false prophets, and that's why I even put the video up there. Similarly, you could say it's related because if it's regarding Elazar, Sakari, the reason you see them do what they do, or they teach what they teach, or they say what they say, it's always about money. And it was always like that, even in the ancient. The reason the wicked scribes and Pharisees, not only was it just envy and jealousy that they had of Yahweh Shai, the reason why they actually had a problem with him and the apostles, the reason why his name being taught was a problem, because they saw it as a threat to, one, their money and their position. So it was known when Herod put out that kill order that Yahweh Shai was born, and he already had that title of King of the Jews. That's why that kill order was sent out. So when Yahweh Shai was grown, that name was spread forth, and he was acknowledged as King of the Jews. And then during the Roman Empire, it was basically a threat to the Roman authority, to Caesar, if anybody was proclaiming themselves to be king. And the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they understood that, and they were afraid, and they were mad when they heard people praise Yahushua and called him King of the Jews and giving them praise. They were upset because they weren't concerned about the truth. They weren't concerned about the miracles. Their whole concern was stopping that name from spreading, because if that name reaches the higher ups, the higher authorities, then they're going to come and investigate us. And for all we know, we could lose our position and our money. So money is always going to be that driving force. That's why it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And the scripture says that money blinds the eyes of the wise. If it's one thing I can't stand in this world, is the lack of integrity in Israel, because this devil already knows that he can always dangle a carrot in front of our people's faces, and they'll quickly be compromised and teach or push a music video, push a song, push a way of life that's clearly detrimental to our people overall, just so that they can have a good luxurious life. The Esau eating the devil, he knows that. He knows that if he can always buy out one of our people. And it's a shame, because our people are so, narrow-minded, that the integrity lacks, that they don't have it in them to say, look, I'm not going to do this just because, just because what I'm living good, but look at the message I'm pushing. This isn't good for the general population, for the general people of my people. And if integrity was actually known, if we actually had integrity in the majority of our people, man, this devil wouldn't be able to buy us out. He wouldn't be able to buy any of us out. But he knows that he can, and he knows that all it takes is to dangle a carrot in one of our people's faces, offer them a luxurious life, a comfortable life, and at the cost, you just take away the name of the Lord, or you just push the doctrines that we teach you to push. You still be living good. Yeah, we'll let you do community service around the community. Yeah. Just don't teach the name of the Lord. Here, by the way, here, we need you to kind of push this hell doctrine. Here's a list of scriptures you need to teach this hell doctrine. And we need you to get you buttered up, because when we start to bring this chip, we need you to go ahead and ease in the compliance of your people to go ahead and fall in line. And they do this all the time over, right? This is the book of Acts 19, verses 17. It says, "And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks dwelling in Ephesus, and fear fell on them all, and the name of the Lord Yahushua was magnified. And many that believed came and confessed and showed their deeds. Many of them also, which used curious arts, brought their books together and burned them before all men. And they counted the price of them, and found it 50,000 pieces of silver." All those curious books are just your average witchcraft books, your masonry books. It says, "So mightily grew the word of Yahweh and prevailed." After these things were ended, Paul proposed in the Spirit, when he had passed through Macedonia and Achaia, to go to Jerusalem, saying, "After I have been there, I must also see Rome." So he went to Macedonia, two of them that ministered unto him, Timotheus and Erastus, but he himself stayed in Asia for a season. And the same time there arose no small stir about the way. So you see how the word of the Lord is growing mightily during this time. People are throwing away their witchcraft books, and the Lord's name is being magnified greatly. Verse 24, it says, "For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen." So we're going to see the reaction of this guy who clearly, he's an Israelite, but who's clearly being financed and living a good life off of creating idols and imagery for something that does not exist, a goddess called Diana. And not only that, but you could say put people on game. He gave business to a lot of other people, right? 25 says, "Whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul had persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipped. And when they heard these things, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians." So what caused all of them to move up with wrath? It's because their money was at jeopardy. It wasn't about the truth. They didn't care that they knew that a lot of people were turning to the Lord and that they were on the time clock. All they cared about, they didn't care that everybody would take a call into the Lord and that the name of the Lord was increasing. All they cared about was their wealth and their money. So the truth, it had nothing to do with the truth. And they got other people upset. If Paul and them keep increasing, we ain't gonna have no job, and they gonna burn down this temple called made with Diana's. And then what we gonna do then? Then our money's in jeopardy. What we gonna do? So what did they do? They cried out, "Great is Diana of Ephesians," and the whole city was filled with confusion. And having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in the travel, and they rushed with one accord into the theater. And when Paul would have entered into the people, his disciples suffered him not. So Paul is ready to go in there and be like, "Look, but this is the confusion that they wanted to cause for the sake of saving their own ass of their money." So that you got to understand, the teaching of 100% truth puts in jeopardy these people's future finance. Scripture says that they will make merchandise of you. In order for them to make merchandise of you, they have to speak according to the world. It's just like, well, I'll just put it that way. That's what they have to do. We have the evidence, right? So this is the book of John, chapter 11, verse 47. I'll start at 46. It says, but when some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and our nation. So what was the concern of these chief priests? They said, if we leave this man alone, the Romans are going to come and take away our place in our nation, because they know that Yahushua was being acknowledged as king of the Jews. And Caesar, if Caesar got word of that, what would he come and do? He would come and say, where are them scribes and Pharisees? Where are them Jews? Bring them here. And then they're going to lose their position. So you see, it wasn't about the fact that the name of the Lord and the Messiah was coming. It wasn't about that. It was about maintaining the position and their authority over Israel, and that they're the counselors and that they're the leaders, and they feared them. It wasn't about the truth. But even then, you had one righteous among them, Caiaphas, as he goes on. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest the same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for the nation. So this is why we say not all wicked scribes and Pharisees were wrong. Were wicked. But this guy, he's like, what are you worried about? He's like, this is good. This is good that the Lord came. What the hell are you talking about that we got to deal with this? Man, get the hell out of here. But what it says, it says, verse 2, and not for the nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Yahweh that was scattered abroad. Then from that day forth they took counsel together for to put him to death. See? So that day they said, that's it, he got to go. Because my position is in jeopardy. My money is in jeopardy. My position. And this is what you have to realize. The reason you're not going to get 100% truth from these false prophets, these false teachers, is because their position, they are in jeopardy. They don't want to lose it. So like the 501c3, like the guys in purple, they have the 501c3. Now, I just looked up. I just Googled, right? I typed in 501c3 IRS prohibition, which are prohibited. And part of having a 501c3 charter, which is what IUIC has, one of the restrictions on paper is that when it comes to the political activity of campaigning, such as a president, right, or mayor or whatever it is, they can't actively say for or against anyone because they're in jeopardy. As it says restriction of political campaign intervention by Section 501c3 tax exempt organizations. It says under the International Revenue Code, IRR code, all Section 501c3 organizations are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for elective public office. They can't run. You can't speak against or for any of them. You have to be basically silent. Now, it could be argued, oh, well, once they get in office, then you're free to say what you want. Well, that's dangerous too. But that's the snare, you see, that you can't speak against them. You can't use your influence to speak against the orders, the powers that be. And when they do get into office, you are obligated to pass what it is that they issue out, because it goes on. Another one I just downloaded as a PDF, but it says how to lose your 501c3 exempt status without really trying. It's just a quick PDF download. Here's one of them. It says lobbying, right? It says lobbying is when an organization contacts or urges the public to contact members or employees of a legislative body or any executive branch official who may participate in the formulation of legislation for the purpose of proposing, supporting, or opposing legislation, or when the organization advocates the adoption or rejection of legislation. A legislation is a legislative law. So by default, if you have a 501c3, you are forbidden to encourage members, let's say, urges contact members of a legislative body. Okay, so you are prevented from trying to, you could say, change what was being put in office, right? It says while a 501c3 organization is allowed to do some lobbying, too much can hurt its exempt status. Yeah, because you can't oppose the powers that be. Political activity, it says all 501c3 organizations are prohibited from participating in any political campaign on the behalf of or in opposition to any candidate running for public office. Right? So you can't, that's the snare. You can't speak against the people who run it, but when they're in office and they push the legislation for the 501c3s to teach, such as when they bring the mark of the beast to chip, they're going to have to be able to enforce it. So you see, that's the snare. You can't speak against them before they get in office, and when they get in office, you just have to pass what it is they pass. That's why you're compromised. And the IRS, the IRS was established by the international bankers. They work for the World Bank. They are established to do the bidding of the international world bankers to ensure that the slaves, which are the people, go out there and run the hamster wheel forever to make their money. That's what it all is. The IRS serves the benefit not of the people, but of the international bankers. That is why anybody who has an exemption status from paying the IRS, the international world bankers, you could say, of course, they're not going to just let you get a pass without doing their bidding. You're going to have to do their bidding in some way. That's why it's considered being sold out, because your lips are sealed. That is why when it comes to the people in the office, they have to be very, very careful with what they say. That's why you're not going to hear your bishop, IUIC, condemn the microchip. Why? Because the people are in office now, and they can't be on camera speaking against what it is that the people who are in power are going to do. It's all about the position. We just read to you how they did this. The coppersmiths did the same thing when it came to the temple and the business of the great goddess Diana. That's a lucrative business, just like the wicked scribes and Pharisees were concerned about their position under Rome, the Roman Empire. So it's not about the truth. You understand? These people, they have a gag order, as you could say. They have to be very careful with what they say regarding anything coming out of the White House. And IUIC, another example is, they were on video not that long ago. Don't think I'm lying, because I'm not. Okay, they were sitting around with a bunch of women, and they were politicking about. They were talking about the White House, and they were talking about like Obama, and they were using Obama as an example. Him and who they call Michelle Obama as an example to show, like, see, look at that black man looks stressed. That black man looks stressed. See, it's the black woman that don't understand the plan. Look, Barack Obama, he looks stressed out. That black woman is, talking about Michelle. I said, first of all, we're going to pretend like Barack Obama is actually an Israelite, a so-called black man. And then more importantly, we're going to pretend like his husband, Michelle Obama, we're going to actually pretend like that's a woman. So these guys are the so-called prophets. They can see all this stuff, but they can't see that that's clearly not no damn woman. But it's because of the 501c3. They have to entertain the folly of the idea that, oh, that's a black woman, and the job, oh, that black man looks stressed. This is what they have to do because of the 501c3. You understand? That's why they're not going to condemn the microchip. That's why they're not going to entertain the microchip, because the powers that be in that position, if they catch them speaking against anything that they could possibly legislate down the line, They are in jeopardize of their position of 501c tax exempt, which means they're in jeopardize of their position of their money. So it's all about money. Just keep that in mind, man. Keep that in mind. This is why you're not going to see or hear them do the things that you want them to do, because of the false prophets. They're concerned about themselves and their money. Teaching you that the Lord can come back next week is going to jeopardize their continuation of merchandising the people. That's why he said, what? Oh, the Lord can come back between now and 1,000 years, and there's a chance we may not even see his coming. It's because he's trying to prolong his position. It is no benefit for him to truly teach the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to truly proclaim the mark of the beast openly, to truly tell you that Jacob's trouble is around the corner and that the Lord can come back next week. For all of these guys, it's not lucrative benefits to them to teach our people hastening the coming of the day and proclaiming the name of the Lord. It happened with the Acts of the Apostles. It happened during Yahushua. It's happening now. So with that, shalom.